From English royalty to notorious criminals. Stay tuned to number 1 to find out who was the most powerful couple in history. Number 10. Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. We're going to start off this list with one of the few couples on the list to still be alive, which actually says a lot if you think about it. Queen Elizabeth II and her husband Prince Philip of Edinburgh were married over 70 years ago, on November 20th, 1948. On June 2nd, 1953, Elizabeth was officially made Queen of England and Prince Philip was by her side when she was. Now, 70 years after their marriage, they're still going. Elizabeth is 91 and Philip is 96, and they seem no worse for the wear. What's more, after all that time, they still haven't shirked their duties to their country, to their people, or to each other. What might surprise you, though, is that when Elizabeth and Philip got engaged, it was a bit of a scandal. Philip was considered foreign blood, and many felt that this would cast a stain on the crown. Instead, though, they've had a loving marriage and the longest reign by a queen in the history of England. Not to mention the longest marriage by royalty in the history of the country. Think about everything that they've had to go through together, the wars, the incidents, the deaths in the family, and yet they've persisted. A true showing of the strength of the crown. Number 9. Bonnie and Clyde. What? Is there really a power couple in the world of crime? Well, there are, and there were, and arguably the most famous duo of the bunch is the infamous Bonnie and Clyde. While Hollywood and the media have glamorized the two and what they did, let's set some things straight. They were hardened criminals. Clyde Barrow had been to jail multiple times before his death, and it changed him. Bonnie Parker had her own issues, and she was willing to go the distance for her man when the time came. The two were legendary during their crime spree from 1932 to 1934, and they had not only done a lot of damage, but also garnered a reputation for skirting the laws in ways that made the authorities furious. While they were eventually gunned down, their love story and their willingness to be by each other's side through it all made them a power couple for the ages. Number 8. Winston Churchill and Clementine. Before we talk about Churchill and Clementine, take a moment to like this video and join the Zero to Hero community by using the buttons below. When it comes to figures in the course of history who changed history, Winston Churchill comes to mind rather quickly. He was the Prime Minister of Great Britain during World War II and was instrumental in not only the UK not giving up to the threat of the German army, but helping to get America not only on board, but also winning the war with their aid. His legendary Never Surrender speech is the stuff of legends and Oscar-winning films. But what many people don't know at times is that his wife kept him in check. Ironically enough, Winston was set to be married to another woman, but upon meeting Clementine Hosier, he knew that this was the woman for him, and history should be grateful for this. After all, Winston Churchill was a chain-smoking brute who at times was the most difficult man to deal with. Because of this, and his rank, few people stood up to him, except Clementine. He trusted her so much that he went to her for advice on all sorts of matters, including political ones. Their love and power was pure, honest, and true. And to prove that, here's what he had to say to his wife once. "I do not love and never will love any woman in the world but you." Number 9. Beyonce and JayZ. Surprised to see someone so modern on this list? Well, if you knew how powerful JayZ and Beyonce are, you wouldn't be. When it comes to power couples, there's many different ways you can take it, such as being two of the most powerful forces in an industry, which is exactly what JayZ and Beyonce are. JayZ is one of the most important figures in the history of rap, which is saying something when it comes to the many big names that have made rap their own. He alone has a net worth of almost $1 billion. True, he doesn't make his own music that much anymore, but he does own a hot record label that contracts many of today's biggest stars. Not to mention, he co-owns the NBA team, the Brooklyn Nets. Just in 2018 alone, he's made around $80 million in his ventures. Beyonce, on the other hand, is one of the most beautiful women alive, and she's still one of the best singers in the world regardless of genre. Her net worth is about $355 million, and she's considered one of the highest paid celebrities in the world. Her concerts are legendary, as are her performances. The two have been happily married for some time now, and they even have a child who is going to inherit quite a lot when she's old enough. Number 6. Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart. Hollywood has had a ton of love stories over the years. Some work out, others don't. Brangelina. But when it comes to the best historical Hollywood love story that was also an epic power couple, that would be Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart. Bogart was already one of the most powerful and influential actors in all of Hollywood by the time he met Bacall in 1943. He met her on the set of the movie To Have and to Have Not. She was only 19 at the time and he was 44 and married. That didn't stop them, though, from having a true love to last through the ages. They got married in 1945 and later went on to have 2 children together. Together, they were part of many big films, including The Big Sleep, Dark Passage, and Key Largo. This power couple of Hollywood broke down many doors and barriers between their 2 careers. But most important of all, they were happy. Bogart had 3 wives before Bacall, and it was well documented that the love just wasn't there. But with Bacall, it was every single time they were together, alone or in public, they were in love. The real tragedy was that Bogart passed away from cancer in 1957. Number 5. John F. Kennedy and Jackie. There are many who garner the name perfect couple, and when it came to the presidency, it seemed that John F. Kennedy and his wife Jackie were just that. John was a confident, good-looking man who had a way with words, a way that would lead him to the presidency. Jackie was stunning, and is still thought of to this day as one of the most beautiful women of all time. Their marriage was full of love, and as they moved up in the world, they started to change it. John through his political views and beliefs, and Jackie through her style and grace. She was so bold in her style that she actually redid the interior of the White House. Because why not? Some considered them the standard bearers of American couples as well as culture. Sadly, John would be assassinated, and many have said that he was unfaithful to Jackie. Whether that's true or not is irrelevant though, because when they were together, they were a true power couple. Number 4. Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt. The name Roosevelt is synonymous with many, many things. Political is one of them. Teddy Roosevelt is one of the most popular presidents in the history of the United States, and Franklin D. Roosevelt was the most elected president in the history of the United States. The man was elected president 4 times, and from 1933 to 1945, which is when he passed away, he was in the White House running the country. Alongside him, though, was his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt. Why do they deserve a spot on this list? Simple. They were a very powerful couple. Now, yes, not every First Lady has power, but Eleanor most certainly did. Despite the time period where women's roles in various things were questioned, Eleanor was actually a very active politician. She was also an activist, a diplomat, and most definitely used the power she had as First Lady to her advantage. What's more, when her husband's health wasn't the best, it's said that it was Eleanor who ran the country in his stead and not the vice president. How many First Ladies can you say that about? Eleanor was seen as a figurehead among women and one of, if not the, most admired woman in the world at that time. Beloved president, beloved First Lady, epic power couple. Number 3. Bill and Melinda Gates. Heading back to modern times, let's head to the tech world, where a certain billionaire and his wife are happily chugging along without a care in the world. Except thinking about the next software update, that is. Yeah, I speak of Bill and Melinda Gates. Married in 1994, Bill and Melinda have been pioneers in the world, but not just in tech, of which Gates is the co-founder of Microsoft, who brought the PC to the world. But they're actually pioneers in philanthropy, for they have created the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which gives money all over the world to various charities, and is the world's largest private foundation. In fact, even though they're worth billions of dollars, they've honestly given most of it away because they don't want to be consumed by it. Knowing when to relinquish power? Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Number 2. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the most important figures in American history. It was he who helped bring the civil rights movement to bear after the arrest of Rosa Parks, and then spearheaded the nonviolence movement that would sweep over the nation. His "I Have a Dream" speech is iconic to this day, and for good reason. It was an important moment in history. But just as important was his wife Coretta, who was also an activist, the mother of his child, and supporter of his movement no matter what happened. Through good times and bad, they stayed together. She was the rock upon his life's work, and she worked hard to make sure that he was never forgotten, including fighting to make Martin Luther King Jr. Day a holiday. Number 1. Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Arguably the most powerful power couple in all of history, Mark Antony and Cleopatra had a relationship that transcended history, movies, TVs, books, and many other media. Ironically, there are some who put Cleopatra's affair with Julius Caesar above all others. But if we're being honest, there was only one man that she truly loved, and that was Mark Antony. Like many of Cleopatra's relationships, she came to be with Antony in a bid to keep power over Egypt, all the while getting a grasp on Rome after the death of Julius Caesar. But what she got instead was a love for the ages. The love these two had is well documented, including Antony giving Cleopatra a perfume factory and the two having their own drinking club. As if that wasn't enough, because of their positions in the world, they held power over two of the most powerful empires in the world at the time. But their love was more important in their eyes. So much so that when they were defeated by the son of Caesar, Octavian, they both killed themselves rather than to admit defeat by him. They were buried together in a place that is still unknown to this day. Tell us what you think about this list of powerful couples in the comments below, and take care.